Thank you and welcome back to this final segment of the show today. And of course, we're talking to Mr. Bill Purcell, who is a candidate for the mayor of the city of Nashville, Tennessee. And of course, Mr. Purcell, let's give you an opportunity over the last 5.5 or 6 minutes that we have here to sort of wrap it up in terms of not only some of your campaign activities, but to talk about what we consider to be, or to continue to talk about what we consider to be very, very important issues dealing with schools and perhaps affirmative action. Let us say something about those two issues during this last 5 or 6 minutes that we have here.
To finish up our discussion about schools from just before the break, there is no question that the challenges remain great for us. No one should think this is a time that we can rest in terms of school improvement or in terms of most of these other things. I have a clear sense in my own mind that we are moving through territory that no one has been through before. And that means that the mayor, the school board, the director of schools has to remain constantly vigilant that we will not return to a time when our schools were unequal or divided, but instead remain at a place where each of our schools provides that same rich mix of opportunity for all of our kids. And that, I think, speaks to the larger issue of participation in this community. We're at a time in our history when there are all kinds of doors now available and open to the whole large city. It wasn't always so, but now as we look up wherever we are in Nashville, we can see these doors open wide for us in the whole wide range of education and employment, the arts, sports, all of these opportunities are out there. The question that remains, however, for the mayor and for each of us in this city is, will those doors remain open and will they be available to the whole large city? We haven't always been a city that provided equal opportunity. We have not always been a place where there was a confidence that although the opportunity existed, that it would be available for each individual. We have that ability now, it seems to me, to say to small business and large, to say to minority business and majority business, this is a city that wants and needs your participation, your work, your efforts, and the strength of what you bring to us as a city here in Nashville. If we fulfill that promise, then I know that we'll be the city that we can be. I know that we'll be a place that holds its people because it's the city where they most want to be. It seems to me that there are many people who come and stay here because, after all, their parents brought them here. And there are many people here who come and stay because their job or employment brought them here, but neither of those are reasons that are in the end sufficient for the long term. Our people need to be here and stay here because in the end there is nowhere else in the whole wide world that they would rather be.
Opportunities are here.
And my sense is those opportunities being available to all of us in Nashville, being consistently available to all of us in Nashville, based upon our abilities and our ability to participate, gives that assurance and makes me believe that over the long haul this will be that kind of city.
Let me sort of introduce this as a topic here, Mr. Purcell, because I don't think that we like to deal with our young people and the youth. And what do you think about how your office as the mayor might serve our youth, and what could they do in terms of helping you achieve what you want to do, and how can you bring them into greater political participation, at least on this level? What are some of your thoughts in reference to that?
Well, I don't think there's any question that we now know so much more about both the problems and the developmental issues in our children, that it's particularly an appropriate time for someone who has had the experiences that I've had, who's studied this issue in the way that I have, to be the mayor of Nashville. There's so much that we can do that we now know to do to provide opportunity for those children and provide for them to give back to us. From the earliest days of life, we can focus on the need for daycare across the whole broad community. Before and after school care, we now know without question that the highest level of crime and teen pregnancy occurs not in the middle of the night, but from 3 till 6 o'clock in the afternoon when kids are out of school. There ought to be before and after school care available to all of our children. There ought to be a strong and year-round program for our 3- and 4-year-olds. We ought to be reaching out to newborns. In the healthcare capital of the world, there ought to be no question that all of our new children and new parents are provided with the knowledge that they need in order to thrive in this society. Within our schools, there ought to be family resource centers. Each school should have one. Caldwell School is a model, but there are other models. It doesn't have to be the same in every school, but every one of them ought to have a place where a family and where children feel as though they can connect, not just with the school, but also with the other social services that are available in the largest community. Every school ought to know for sure that they're going to see a mayor during the course of each and every year. It seems to me that the beginning of school ought to be a cause for celebration in the larger city. Whether you have kids in school or not, whether you have grandchildren in these schools or not, it's the first day of school, and the schools are among our very most important endeavors. It seems to me that a mayor can set that tone, set that climate, and then also put into place those policies that assure that these kids are in fact all that they can be and are in a position and prepared to take the reins of leadership that we all know they must take.
You know, during this last minute that we have, what can what would you suggest people might do in order to help your candidacy, Mr. Purcell?
It is
over the last minute that we have.
It is
here.
absolutely critical that everyone remembers that it makes a difference. These elections are crucial. This particular election will make a major difference in the life of their own neighborhood and their, I believe, the future of their community overall. There was a time when we didn't believe that, but now as we enter this new century and we know that we'll have a new mayor, the issue is stark before them. Either we're going to go forward into this new millennium with the kind of, I think, vision and the kind of energy that we need, or go back. I don't think this is a city that wants to go back. I think they're ready to go forward, and I think in that regard they will help me become the next mayor of Nashville.
Very good. Mr. Bill Purcell, and let me thank you, Mr. Purcell, for coming by and giving us that excellent information today in terms of the issues as well as your campaign. And we want to certainly tell you how appreciative we are for you to do that for us. And let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.